All right, so this is a blind math podcast. We were talking about not getting things recorded. Sorry, let's start over again. All right. And the MCs came to live out the name.
And to perform.
Okay.
Ow! Alright, so...
All right, let's actually start. This is the starting music. We have some starting music. We're going to start the music now on the Blind Math podcast now. So, I am Blind Math. We're here with Absolute Zero.
Yo.
And a new addition to the podcast. Do you have a fake name, a nickname?
Yogurt.
You're sticking with Yogurt? We had asked her if her name was Yogurt last time, and she said Yogurt, and I thought, she was joking, but I guess she's not joking. I guess she's decided she wants to be Yogurt.
It's serious.
Wait, before we continue, we need to explain to all of our devoted fans what happened.
All two of them.
What happened this last time that you referred to?
Yeah, the last time we tried to get Yogurt on the podcast, we recorded an hour and a half, and her mic wasn't actually recording anything.
I brought bad karma into the mix.
I guess so, because it didn't work. And, I think maybe God hated it. The non-existent God hated your voice, so he didn't allow me to record. But it's all right. So we're going to...
I did some praying,
we're gonna
so...
God loves it when you pray. He loves that shit.
We should be good. We're safe this time.
Every time 1 million people pray in synchronization, God busts a nut. So let's get into the mythology of Yogurt. Like, where do you come from? Where do you hail from?
I'm from Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Fascinating. No, it's not very fascinating.
No.
It's pretty normal.
Yeah, we're all from South
It's better than
Florida.
Naples, where Blind Math comes from.
No, fuck you. So, Zero, you're from Dade County, right?
Yeah.
And Yogurt, you're from Broward County.
Yeah.
Is Broward County the rich county?
No.
We got Coke money.
That's a good point.
Yeah, have you
There's
been to Miami?
There's
The
like
cars.
more banks per capita than anywhere else.
Yeah, that's a
in
good
the
point.
United States, because they have to launder all the Coke money.
They're pimped out cars. I went with my dad to Miami one time, and just every single car, it's just got murals on them and gold rims, and it's beautiful, and definitely
Were they purple?
Drugs.
Purple with drugs?
Yeah.
I love those cars that are purple and they're on those giant rims. They look so fly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but every once in a while there's a weird one that has a mural of the Muppets on the side or something, gold chains and stuff.
The Muppets when they during their Coke phase. Muppets love Coke. Kermit the Frog is a Coke head.
Now you're gonna have the people thinking that Dade County is full of clown cars with Muppets painted on the side.
It is.
Muppets Treasure Island.
That's true.
It is
What
not
you just
true.
said. That is all right. So we're not in Dade County. We're in North Florida, the best Florida.
The crazy Florida.
Where there's a mixture of rednecks and college students.
Yeah.
It's a nice southern culture here, though. I like it way better up here than South Florida. Because South Florida is it seems sometimes it's very, very plastic. Everything has only been there for 20 years.
Yes and no, because I feel the older crowd in Miami, or maybe even the people who come from out of state to retire in Miami, or have a summer home in Miami, they're plastic. But if you
Right.
grew up there, it's kind of different. Cause,
Yeah.
I grew around a lot of people who didn't have shit, so we didn't have the opportunity to be plastic.
Yeah,
so
no,
I
I'm
don't
with you
know.
on that one. That's kind of how Naples is, except less so.
Yeah.
Because Naples, there's less people, and there's a higher quotient of rich people to not rich people.
And the other cool thing about Miami is everyone's so interracial and
Yeah.
and
Spanish
mixed
is
up.
prevalent.
Yeah,
That's
that
a
it's
cool
just
thing. Are there people
you
from
don't
the
really
Ukraine?
feel
Have you ever met someone
as-
from the Ukraine?
as racy. I've met a couple random people from Europe, but never.
Good transition,
never-
Zach.
I was just wondering.
That's
Because I thought it'd be, I don't know.
Which is crazy. That whole situation is crazy. It's mind blowing.
I don't know which side to take, because Crimea voted to become annexed by Russia, but you know what the most fucked up part about it though is the mind control that Putin was using. I made a farting noise with my mouth there a second. But like
Wait,
'cause
what?
2
Mind
weeks.
control?
Well, 2 weeks ago, Putin said we have no intention to annex Crimea, and now they're annexing Crimea. You know, and the thing is,
What
once
are-
they put their guard down, Putin swooped in and was like, "It's mine."
What
You
are
know?
we gonna gain though from
Who do you mean we? Like America?
well, yeah, what are we gonna gain from like keeping it from
Well,
happening?
Right now, America's kind of annoyed with Russia because they're acting like their old Soviet self.
Yeah, but is it
and
just
tensions
grudges?
high.
Like, wouldn't it be easier if we just were like, okay, well, they voted, so
Well, do you
well,
know
Have
what?
it
I mean,
your
yeah,
way.
that's why it's happening. I mean, we're not going to invade Russia anytime soon. I mean, we don't give a shit enough about Crimea. Crimea only matters for people who live on like the Black Sea.
yeah.
Is that the
Nah,
sea that it's on? Is it the Black Sea or?
but check it out. Here's the problem. Do you guys know what NATO is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
North
like like after like the fall of Russia, like Soviet Union or whatever, like the policies of Bush and Bill Clinton have kind of been to like extend NATO protection to
Yeah,
more
yeah.
countries, like, and so
Well, isn't Russia in NATO?
no,
Oh, okay.
not at all.
Wait, am I thinking of something? Am I thinking of the? Am I getting it mixed up? NATO and
No.
what does NATO stand for?
I think
Right.
it's like North American
Trade
Organization.
That's what I
they're
thought.
part- they're
I
part of
thought
the-
that for a second, but I was like, am I
But,
an idiot for thinking this? Because
They're
I
part
thought.
of the World Trade
'Cause
Organization,
isn't
though,
there?
right?
What's the ally? Like there's like a word for the allies.
But yeah, they like it's supposed to be like the collective military. It's basically like not mine, but the United States kind of like sphere of influence and like military allies.
Yeah.
And so Ukraine kind of got lumped into that, oh, you can be in NATO, we'll give you protection from, people like Russia and stuff, and, we'll get, some corporate deals and we'll run some pipelines through your country. And so, like, they're kind of like under our protection in a sense. So, like, it's kind of a weird situation. It would be like if Cuba voted to join Russia, we wouldn't be cool with that.
Yeah, but it's a little. But I see what you're saying. I mean, it's kind of fucked up because I feel like as an American, we have to kind of be like, I don't want to fuck with this, but at the same time, like if you're like in a state position, like if you're John Kerry, you have to fuck with this, like you have to make an opinion. And John Kerry is like making his opinion known. Like he said that they want to isolate Russia and they will not, not be okay with the annexation of Crimea. But you know what I'm realizing? We're like talking about this as if we have a fucking clue.
I was thinking
know,
that
I'm
too.
like-
I was like,
I'm not a
they're probably-
fucking diplomat.
yeah, people were
Well, that's the thing. I
incredible.
feel like this is important though, like,
Yeah.
because this goes to like one of the huge points. Like, it's like, why is our government doing a lot of these things? You know what I mean? And I feel like this is like kind of an important dialogue that hasn't gotten talked about enough. Like, what is the CIA? What is our foreign policy doing? What are the goals?
Yeah.
And like, do the American people actually like know or care what's going on? Because you know what I mean. Like these things have serious consequences. You know what I mean?
Right,
But
right.
It's also weird though that like there are plenty of crises going on in plenty of parts of the world, like food shortages and people suffering, but we just pay attention to certain events like this, like what's going on in Ukraine right now.
Yeah.
Like we follow like the money.
Well, I mean, it's not even that. Like the thing is, why it's not even money as much as just like wacky politics.
Or, like power. Yeah, well, like money and power go hand in hand, but this is like a big power struggle and stuff. But it's
Yeah.
not really the most important thing in terms of like human well-being that's going on. There's like, but that stuff doesn't get in the news. The like ongoing like things
Like what?
like food shortages in places,
Oh.
or like the ghettos of India, for example.
I
Like
mean,
that stuff is like in like
Ghettos of
intense.
India. Like
That
I
stuff
mean,
is
like,
intense, but it's not covered because it's not one specific event. Like something's newsworthy if it's like if something happens.
It's easy
like,
to deconstruct.
if you can have images, like
Yeah.
like
I know what you're saying. Like, I mean, it's much easier. Like Russia being imperialistic and trying to take people's shit. But all right,
I
well,
mean, United States is imperialistic and tries to take.
yeah, I
people's
know,
shit.
I know, I
mean,
know.
It like this is not
That's why
something.
people are interested in that.
This is not
Mhm.
something that's like exclusive to Russia, but we
No.
treat it that way because just like ill information or
And
like
Putin looks like a
ill-informed
supervillain.
population.
Also,
Mhm.
He does, but like one thing that we don't consider enough is that like people in Russia kind of love him for standing up to the West.
some people do. A lot of the people who have the power feel that way.
I mean,
a lot of
but you
people
could say that
don't
about
like him.
about any of our leaders.
Yeah,
too.
but I
You know what
mean-
a
I
lot of
mean,
people
would you
don't
say-
like
I mean-
Obama?
and a lot of people didn't like Bush, but like, would you have been like people who love Bush like during?
Well,
I mean,
what I'm saying is like we paint him as a villain, but we don't like acknowledge like Russian nationalism at all. You know what I mean? That
Well-
he has like that he does have some like a broad spectrum of support.
yeah, I get. I mean, like that's kind of it ties into like the whole point that I was trying to make about us. Probably shouldn't even be talking about it, even though we are, because we don't know shit about this. Like, what am I making this opinion for? But speaking of
But I think
speaking
that,
of not
yeah.
knowing shit, I wanted to talk to Michael, or I wanted to talk to this person who's with us named Absolute Zero. What he thought about the Boondocks. What, dude? You're like talking on Facebook right now,
Yeah.
not even paying attention to this podcast. Why are you?
What are we talking about? Like I'm paying 100%.
You are not. He's like talking on Facebook, like typing to some girl.
He's got to
like,
talk to Josh Brown.
Josh Brown.
He's macking
Yeah.
on Josh
Oh, yeah.
Brown.
It's what
Yeah.
Megan Crimson.
Does Josh Brown have a sweet pussy? Sweet back pussy?
I don't know. We
Ew,
can
what's a
ask him.
back pussy?
It's an anus.
Oh,
Yeah, it's an anus.
that's
Yeah.
the cutest slang I've ever heard. It's adorable.
Back pussy. Yeah, but
But yeah, about the Boondocks.
yeah,
I don't
Aaron
know.
Magruder, the creator of the Boondocks, is no longer like on the staff.
I don't know about that because like the sources for that aren't 100%. They're like no, the sources aren't anything I've ever heard of. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait until more information comes out, and I'll just read the credits.
Man,
He's
like,
not a
you- wait,
conspiracy theorist like
Do you
you.
realize that we were talking about Crimea and we all had these opinions, like as if we knew shit? And like I asked him about Aaron Magruder, the founder of like the Boondocks, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna take the conservative route here, not say what I don't know.
Wait,
But Crimea, we're like, yeah, okay.
What
I've
do you
been to
mean?
Crimea. I speak Ukrainian. Like I think I could like.
Well, I don't know like everything about Crimea. I never claimed to. I just
I know.
know a
I'm
little
not.
bit
I'm just
about-
saying. I think it's funny. Like that's how
geopolitics.
things are. But
I hope.
yeah. What are you doing, man?
You know, we don't.
Zero is not paying attention to this podcast at all. He's like,
I love the podcast.
He's
like
just
talking
wiped
on
a little bit
Facebook,
of
like,
dust off of
like
his
playing
record
with his
player.
turntable. Yeah. You're such a twat. Twat. Do you know
Sorry.
what twat spelled backwards is? Tout.
Tout.
All right, sorry.
Like I have no
Alright.
tout
I
that your twat
apologize.
is
But
tastes like Lucky Charms.
oh, you piece of shit, Zero. Can you guys hear that typing noise?
Can we talk about the broification of Tallahassee? Just for a
What is
second.
the broification of Tallahassee?
Have you been to that district of Tallahassee that's like Urban Outfitters, and they just put up like all these restaurants and bars for
Oh,
bros?
Bro bars. Does
Yeah,
Urban
yeah, I
Outfitters
think you're
count as a
talking about-
bro shop?
Urban
just
Outfitters
wondering.
is like faux hipster, but
So-
apparently they give their money to like conservative causes, or I don't know. It's kind of like mass marketed hip college stuff.
Hipness, mass marketed hip.
Yeah,
I
it's
wish
kind
I
of
was a mass marketed hip.
it's a weird paradox, and I think it's offended a lot
You
of
know what's
locals.
a mass marketed hip?
What?
Kim Kardashian.
She's not hip.
She has a mass marketed hip.
Oh,
Because she's got a booty, yo. High five, Zach.
I didn't even know that Kim Kardashian was on your radar, man.
I don't. It's not that she's on my radar. I mean, I saw the Kanye West video, like everyone else, where he like fucks her on a bicycle
Yeah.
or a motorcycle, rather.
word.
It'd be funny if it was actually a bicycle.
Like,
It's like Little Red Riding Hood. You know, I would have been much. Shh.
sorry.
It would have been great. Like, you know that part in the video where like it opens up and there's like horses running through a field.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't it be funny if like him and Kim Kardashian are riding a bicycle with the horses, and he's just like,
And they
don't
trample
know.
them.
yeah.
I also just imagine horses with like the head of Kim Kardashian, like galloping and like her hair blowing in the wind.
No, I'm like my hoofs touch the ground. Did she become like an old
She
Jew?
talks
My
like
hoofs.
that. Yeah, you did a horrible impression.
Yeah. I just know she talks
She
like
talks
this.
more like this. Like she's always whining. Like,
Yeah, you do it better.
No, Kanye, please buy me another horse so I can fuck it. True
She
story.
thinks she's
Real
into
quote.
She's into bestiality.
Who
yeah,
isn't?
fuck them. Fuck them.
Yeah, bestiality.
Yeah, bestiality.
How do you feel about, like, I know I've talked to Zero about Kanye West many times, and like you'd usually take the position that he's a good musician, and I usually take the position like he's overrated, you know, and like
I can see both sides.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, like, I guess, like, I understand, like, I think we're probably in agreement that he's a little too narcissistic and like egomaniacal as of late.
Yeah.
But
I
you know
think
what?
so.
Who are we to judge like celebrities' personalities? Like, even though it's fun to, it's it's hard to know whether you should let that influence like what you actually think of their music. But
Well,
that's like the age-old question.
yeah.
I mean, there's a metal band that I heard and I really liked them, and then I found that the main guy is like a murderer, and I was like, can I like the music of a murderer? Like,
Oh,
how
who?
much can you
What band?
Burzum?
Oh, I don't know that band.
Like, how much can you
right.
separate someone's art from their
Yeah.
personality?
Yeah.
I have the same problem with Apocalypto. Like, have you ever seen that movie?
Oh, the Mel Gibson. Yeah,
yeah,
dude, I have the
really
same
I really
thing.
like that movie, but
It's so
but then when I
historically
found-
inaccurate.
well, I mean, yeah, there's that, but like the message when you find out that he's racist
Yeah,
becomes even more racist.
dude, I know, like, the whole
'Cause-
movie, like, you're like, actually, you know, it's a little historically inaccurate, but you thought it's kind of felt a little like there's accuracy. But then at the end, right? You know, are you talking about like at the end when like it was all chaotic? Like the main character is like all these people died around him, and then he looks out and he sees the conquistadors on their
Yeah.
ships coming, and like they're like, what does this mean? And it's like, this is new. You know, and they're like optimistic. And I'm like, conquistadors came and
Wait.
murdered everybody.
Wait,
like-
no. They weren't optimistic. They didn't say anything after that.
Yeah, no,
That's
they
how the
did. They
movie
were
ends.
like, look, what is that? They're like, something new.
No, I don't think so. I think
Yeah,
the movie
dude,
just ended.
that's like how it
But,
ended. Like, I remember
but the
it
thing-
vividly
I can
thinking like,
fact
what the
Nah,
fuck? Like,
nah, because it wasn't even that it was good things coming. Like the whole point of the movie was that, like, before, you know, I think what he was trying to say is that people characterize, you know, the Europeans come into the Americas as like savagery and us destroying them, which kind of did happen, but that there
Well,
was savage. I think he was trying to say that there was savagery
yeah,
already
that's what
occurring
that's
there
what I'm
before
saying.
they
That's
got there.
that's dude. This is I'm telling you that part happened at the end of the movie. Like I promise you, because I remember watching it more than once. But and like that was like ties in exactly like with what you're saying. Like they were the savages, and then the conquistadors came and like saved them, which is like such a bullshit narrative. I mean, yes, maybe they were rolling heads down the pyramid. Yes, they were doing that, but the conquistadors just rolled heads down the road. You
Well,
know
it's
what I
a
mean?
difference between like it's like have you ever read that book by Achebe? Oh my gosh, what's it called?
You're looking
Things
at,
fall
you're looking
apart.
at
The
the
Ending of
entire-
Apocalypto.
Things fall apart.
Things Fall Apart. Yeah, and Things Fall Apart. It's like they would have
Or-
like in this African like nation, they would like have these wars, but it would be people would call them savage or whatever, but they would kill maybe like 12 people in a war. But then when the like colonizers came, like they had weapons to like kill just like
The
thousands.
genocide,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's like
yeah.
there's a big difference between, you know, like killing, you know, some people and some sacrificial
like-
shit, and then
yeah.
actually like having systems that like mass murder,
Yeah,
and
you
then like have it under a guise of like this white
right.
like
You see,
ideal.
this always ties in with my viewpoint where like racism, it's always founded in like a fact that people just suck. And what I mean by that is like let's say there's a white person, right? And he looks at there's this black person who was acting violent or something like that. They're like, oh, that means black people are violent. It's like, no, just this person sucks is all.
Yeah.
You know, they see like one group of people and they assume like just because like this group of people sucks like everybody else, that means, you know, like because they're just acting like humans, like, you know what I mean? Like all humans kill, you know, all humans rape. You know, you might look at India and be like, oh, look at all the rape they have. It's like, well, I'm sure we would have that much rape in, you know, the States if we were, you know, a certain way. You know what I mean? It's just like,
Well, that's one of the things, like, that's, I mean, to bring it back, but, like, women don't really rape as much or kill as half as much.
No, I
as
know. Yeah,
men.
women need to get in charge. I mean,
Yeah.
fuck. Dude, who was I talking? Oh, your roommate Sung, your Korean roommate. So that in Korea now they have a female president, which I thought was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool to me.
Yeah, there are a lot of countries with female presidents.
Yeah, we don't have one.
We might.
I want. How do you guys?
Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, I was just about to say. It's
God,
like I kind of want her to win just because she's a female, but that's almost just as fucked up as like not wanting her to win is because she's. But it's like.
But she's.
She's not the. But
yeah, I know.
She's pro drug war, which is a big no-no.
Really?
Yeah, she is. She's pro drug war. She's pro like involvement in other countries' business. Like her policies are not that far away from her husband, and her husband had some issues, in my opinion. And I mean, like the thing is, she's all right. You know, she's not like a bad. Like she wouldn't be a terrible. She'd be leaps and bounds better than Bush. But at the same time, I think if only Elizabeth Warren would.
I know. I love Elizabeth Warren.
I think everyone collectively really wants her to run.
Yeah, our
Yeah.
generation, because her financial policy
Exactly.
is fucking amazing.
Because like
Just like a
honestly,
real
one of the
human
biggest
being.
things that is like an issue for our generation, I feel like, is just the economic disparities, and like that's one thing that Elizabeth Warren like stands out against a lot. And even though like Obama, like you know, he talks a lot about like the poor and all and like these, but he's pretty like
He's done
fiscally
nothing.
conservative.
Yeah.
He's pretty much like very
Well,
capitalist. And
I mean-
Elizabeth Warren would like
Well,
I mean at least like advocate more for some social change in economic policies.
I think part of the problem is, or not necessarily part of the problem, but I think he changed when he got into office to
Yeah.
like from a position of like, here are the ideals that I want to like, here's the
reality, yeah.
Like, what can I accomplish?
Yeah, like, I
And then
think-
it's just like, and that's when you realize like, if there's one thing that this has taught me, you know, this election cycle is that like the problems are bigger than just like one person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, like, you
can't-
got to give credit where credit is due also, you know, because, like, Obama did pass a healthcare thing that was fucking impossible for him to pass.
Yeah.
And, like, also keep in mind, he's had more, what's the word I'm looking for? More, like, congressional disruption or, like,
Yeah.
there people, like, stick in the mud, like, that any other president. Like, he's had more filibusters in his first term than the entire history of the country. I mean, that is like, and people are like, oh, it has nothing to do with the color of his skin, which obviously it
Well,
does.
the Republican
part of
Party is
it-
like bonkers right now. The
Yeah.
Republican
But
Party
yeah,
is like
and it's
having a frenzy because they're
there's a
going.
black president.
Yeah, but also because
Yeah.
they're going to go extinct soon, or at least like you know they're going to have to change because like
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's
they
not
are.
going to be able to.
Right.
We're losing our America. Like,
yeah, exactly.
fuck all of you.
Latinos are becoming like really prevalent, and
Well, we're like a couple of decades from a majority minority.
yeah, and we're like what is it, like 20% of the population speaks Spanish or some crazy number like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like an unstoppable trend, and
Yeah.
everyone's doing the projections, and they're like, you know, we can't be the
Yeah.
party of old white people.
The Southern
and
strategy kit doesn't work anymore. Nixon's
Yeah.
Southern strategy is falling apart, you know,
Yeah.
and it's just
Yeah, when that generation dies off.
Yeah.
yeah. Let's all pray tonight that the old people will die in an orderly and swift fashion. You know, maybe they'll like all just go to the graveyard one day and like someone will dig a hole and they'll all just fall over into it. You know,
Oh,
big mass grave of old people. Wouldn't that be nice,
that's
guys?
horrifying.
No, it's not. It's beautiful.
Euthanasia.
Yeah.
But, isn't that the word?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, you know, Obama, what did he do? He like extended like jobless benefits and like overtime. And like all the Republicans are like, if we extend overtime, they're gonna hire less, which is fucking stupid. They're gonna hire
Yeah.
more because that means if they have to pay them for overtime, they're gonna want more people to work who they don't have to pay for overtime to fill those extra time gaps.
Yeah.
It's the most like they have the most retarded logic in the world.
Well, like a big part of the problem is like just the electorate is so stupid, or the part of the electorate that they're pandering to is so stupid. You know what I mean? That they just want people who oppose what the president says.
Yeah, yeah.
Instead of like
That's all it is.
actual solutions. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like none of those people care about the truth or solutions.
Yeah. I
or
like
data
here's a perfect
or-
example. Like I heard Obama's like last budget, he submitted it. It was 1,000 pages, right?
Yeah.
And that day, within like an hour of him releasing it, John Boehner came out and said, "This is the most radical budget I've ever seen." It's like 1,000 pages. He read it in an hour. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? Like, he's like, "Yeah, I skipped it. I got the gist of it, and now I hate it." It's like, what are you doing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's just talking shit. He has no idea. You know, he just hates it, like, immediately talking, you know, comes out and says the talking points, like, socialism, socialism, socialism. You know, bad, bad, bad. If only it was socialism. But, all right, well, I'm glad we decided that we're all moderately okay with Obama. Moderately.
I'm moderately okay with him.
I
But
just
I'm
don't,
not into
I don't
that.
like the system, and he's a
The
part of
system?
like
Yeah,
the
exactly.
system. As much as I sound
Yeah.
like a dick when I
Like
say
Russell
the system,
Brand.
no, but
it
it's
is a
true,
part.
though.
Like it's
It's
like what
true.
you said. One person doesn't have that much control. It's like all like our entire government operates wrong. So
Yeah.
how much can you do when you're one person?
But it's just like we just need to like collectively figure out a way to change the incentives like
Yeah.
for our government, because you know what I mean, people get into their jobs like by the time you get into a position of power in Washington, you've already like lost, like no matter how good your intentions were, you've lost like everything. You've just become part of the system.
Yeah,
by
and you
the
have to
time
support
that
all
you-
these like lobbies and stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
like the screwed up part about it, like I think like the most fucked up thing is like the way money has just like ruined the system. You know what I mean? Like your campaign costs a shit ton of money, and you have to be a part of the Democrat or Republican parties. So basically, what's gonna happen is they'll loan you the money that you need for the campaign, and when you get in office, you have to
suck
pay
their
back.
dick now,
You
yeah.
have to pay back the money.
Mhm.
So you spend a majority of your time, like as a politician, doing fundraisers.
That would
Yeah,
probably
with your
yeah.
party,
and calling
like,
people,
all
yeah.
Being like, "Oh, thank God I'm a Democrat. Thank
the
God
nu- like
Almighty."
the number one thing you do as like a congressman is
raise money. They become like
and then the second like the
show dogs.
and then you have a team of people who give you summaries of bills, and then you sign them.
Yeah,
You
it's
know what I mean?
pretty
Or
sad.
you vote. You know what I mean? Like
If-
Our, like,
Getting
it's
the
like-
money out of that would probably be one of the
It's-
biggest changes.
You know what? Like,
that would need to happen.
you make me think of something like David Simon, the guy who wrote The Wire. Like he was doing this talk in like Australia, and they were asking him like, how do we fix like the drug war, right? Like, is it a racism thing? And he was like, at this point, like there's no easy solution. Like everybody wants me to say like, oh, just end the drug war and everything's gonna be fine, But
Yeah.
like the problem is so systemic. Like
yeah.
you're not gonna get a politician who's gonna be like, I want to legalize heroin. Like no,
Yeah.
that's not gonna happen anytime soon.
But
And and it's also not even a race. Like now that America has kind of like drawn the line in the sand and saying like anyone who's outwardly a racist is no bueno, right?
yeah.
The problem is becoming more of like a cat. Like it's still very line around race, right? Like because
Yeah.
black people tend to be impoverished more. Same with Latinos. However, now that the line is becoming more like white people are in the poverty realm, you're gonna start seeing white people freak the fuck out.
Yeah.
Because white people who are poor also go to prison a lot.
Yeah,
You know what
they
I mean?
do. Yeah.
So like once like people start experiencing this, and now that the economy is getting fucked up, it's gonna.
well, like, you know what I mean? The economy has always been fucked up.
Yeah,
if you're
but
black,
particularly
you know what
now,
I mean?
like, but yeah, I'm just saying like people are gonna like wise up because like we have such a prison problem.
Yeah, we do. We're like, we literally have like a system of slavery.
We
like,
do. We have more prisoners in our country than anywhere else, more than China. We
And
have more
then-
prisoners than China. How do they have billions of people?
Yeah, what
How
the
the
hell?
fuck did we do that?
Yeah, we imprison like some ridiculous figure like the next 10
Yeah,
countries
like-
combined.
It's because
Like, in America, when
Yeah.
you're talking to someone and they're like, yeah, my friend, he spent some time in jail, and now that he's out, he's a different person. Like, that's not a rare story.
We
You know
don't.
what I
It's
mean?
because
I
we
know
don't
so
spend
many people
money
have been
on
jail.
education. Like that's one of those things where it's like, oh, I don't want like higher tax dollars, or I don't want to spend money on like social well-being.
Yeah.
But like education, like we literally have just like terrible public schools all
Yeah.
across America where
Uh-huh.
people are just like in
Yep.
in impoverished neighborhoods where people are
Yep.
just filtered into school and
Yep.
into prisons.
Yeah, and like, and the thing
Yeah.
is, when I went to Atlanta, like my brother lives in this fairly, it's not crazy, it's not like rich, but there's some rich people in his
Yeah.
neighborhood, and like we drove past his elementary school, and he was like, yeah, that elementary school is really well known. Like people move to this neighborhood just so they can send their kids to elementary school.
yeah.
And I was like, what about the other schools? And it's like, yeah, the other schools in Atlanta like drop their music programs and like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they have no money. Like they have like textbooks that are 20 years old and are full of doodles.
Duty.
But like,
If I were to write a new constitution, that would be one of the first things. Like everyone has a right to good education.
every
and that's,
school should get the same amount of funding.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's so common
ridiculous.
sense.
At least in terms of, I mean, you can still have private schools, but like,
it's ridiculous to me. You know what I mean? That like your school zone can be like the contributing factor.
And speaking of school zone,
and then we stopped busing, which I think was a mistake.
Yeah,
I think
no, it is.
That was a terrible mistake.
And like, and the thing is, like
mistake.
talking about school zone, and also talking about like the drug war we were saying before.
Yeah.
Like, also it's the case in cities that if you get murdered in certain zip codes, you're not. There's not going to be a detective on your case. But if you get murdered in the outskirts of the suburbs, they will figure out who did it.
Well, here's the problem, man. Like, or one of the big problems. You know, we fund our police forces with like ticket money, which is a terrible way to fund your cops, because now like all the incentives are to like, you know, like enforce like drug laws. It's kind of like crazy. You know what I mean? They get all the incentives are there for them to process cases, and you know what I mean? It takes a long time to find out who murdered someone, and it's going to be very difficult.
And that's why it's fucked up how they prioritize it. Like, because the thing is, where the places where they don't investigate the murders are the places that have the highest murder rate.
Yeah.
And that's where they need to investigate the murders more than anywhere.
Chicago
And talk about like waste of money. Where is the money that we could use for schools? Oh, maybe all the money we're using to like feed these prisoners,
I
house
know,
them.
right?
Like,
Yeah, there's more money.
There
for
is
prison.
money right there.
And there's private prisons are like one of the scariest things. Like
it's stupid.
It's like
stupid.
it's amazing that it's even like I can't. Like, it's so exhausting for me to think about it because I always want to go out and protest, but I don't even know where to begin because it's such a big
problem.
Like, you have to really make private prisons illegal. I
And
think.
you know, the other thing too is some of the private prisons have contracts that have minimum occupancy rates.
God
like
damn.
you're like, what?
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
like how is that like legal?
Yeah,
you know
that
what I
is
mean?
fucked
like,
up. Yeah,
that's so fucked.
it's definitely
just
it's
like
100% slavery.
It's like the goals. When you start to examine the problems in the legal system and the prison industry, you quickly realize that the goals of incarceration are not to like rehabilitate people. Like, you're told that you go to jail or you go to prison or whatever, and you pay your debt to society, and two, like, you're supposed to like they're supposed to be out, like,
You're supposed to get rehabilitated.
Yeah, it's supposed to be some type of rehabilitation, but like it almost seems like sending people to prison just makes them worse. You know what I mean?
And
like the
you're
people
right,
you
man.
get sent out of prison.
There's no incentive for rehabilitation. You're right. You know what? I think maybe a case that like a lawyer could make to get some of these private prisons closed is that they are slavery, which is against the Constitution.
I mean, they are slavery.
I agree, but like I wonder if you could make that case like as a
probably not, man. It's
probably
just
difficult,
like,
man.
We just need a new constitution. God damn it! Like, what is up with our? Like, no other country has like a constitution as old as us.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
like
the problem. We made it first, and like the system is built to not go through radical change. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's
it's
the
really
thing.
difficult to repeal a constitutional amendment.
Thomas Jefferson
Yeah.
said that you should change the constitution like every 20 years or something.
Yeah, well, he
Yeah.
said there should be a revolution every 20 years. And
Yeah,
like,
we
and
really
I mean, the
overdue for
3/5
one.
amendment is still there. Like, black people are still 3/5 of a person.
Oh, word.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like actually viewed that way, but like, I just think that's like ridiculous that it's still like chilling in the Constitution. By the way, sorry, Michael.
You know,
Constitution
that
says
reminds me. There
3/5.
was like one of those like southern states had like rules for slave auctions still in their law
really?
books, and Michael Moore had a slave auction, like in front of the Capitol.
Wow, that's kind of cool of him.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get off that depressing topic. I
Yeah,
wanted to
it's
talk about
depressing.
hardcore punk because
Good topic.
us three were at a hardcore punk show. Actually, we performed. Blind Math performed. Checked out our EP on Bandcamp, blindmath.bandcamp.com. We were at a show, and there was a hardcore punk band, right? And I was talking to Dory about this because I felt kind of guilty later. Like during the hardcore, like I was like moshing, right? It was like in the mosh pit. It was getting pushed around. It was fun. I got some bruises. And then like I was like went to the edge of the room to catch my breath, right? And like whenever someone comes out of the mosh pit at you, you have to like push them back into it with your hands. So I kept doing that, and it was mostly guys. And then at one point, a girl came out, and I just didn't think about it, and I like pushed her back in, and I realized when I did it, like I didn't like grab her ass, but like I was like her lower back, you know what I mean? And I felt really guilty later because like I was like that was the not right touch.
Are
I'm
you
sure.
a priest?
Well,
Oh my God! I touched
well,
her in the lower groin.
well, no.
area.
Yeah, I would.
Well, all right, but the thing is, I have so many like friends, like punk feminist friends who like complain about it all the time, and I was always like, I can't believe people do that to you at shows. That's so fucked up. And I was like, damn, I accidentally did that. Like I did not, and I don't know who this person is. I didn't mean to do it, and I just want Dory to tell me that I'm not at fault.
You aren't. I don't think.
Dory
I think
is
the
yogurt. I'm
intention is a
sorry.
big part of it. Yeah, yogurt. Well, when I go into a mosh pit, I figure I will get pushed around.
Yeah, you were in the mosh pit. Did any guy
I think
grab you on your butt?
No one grabbed me on my butt.
Okay.
Maybe it's because I'm really tall, so I'm kind of intimidating.
Someone grabbed me on my
intimidate
butt, but
people.
I don't.
Yeah.
Someone jumped on my shoulders, and their
It's like-
groin was on my neck.
Ew.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that ew?
Yeah. There's some
That's
smelly
funny.
fucking people. I was very
Like-
drunk and crazy in that mosh pit. That was a super good time. But I think as long as you're not like a repeat offender, then
Yeah.
you're pretty safe.
Right.
Yo.
Oh, by the way, the punk band that we saw was called I Don't Want to Do That. They're pretty good. You should check them out. I just
I
thought I'd
don't
say
want
that.
to do that.
I joined the mosh pit for the first time. Yes, I am black, and I joined the mosh pit.
Oh, were you in the mosh pit that night?
I
didn't
was in
see
there
you.
for a little bit, and
Oh,
then
how was it?
And then I got out, and I was like, man, this really isn't for me. And then I was like standing on the edge of the mosh pit, and then somebody stepped on my Jordans.
Oh,
And
that's unsavory.
And then like I was like, all right, I'm gonna woo-saw. And then somebody did it again, and I was just like, all right, I have to leave the room before I start a fight in the mosh
Yeah.
pit. That's not
I saw your friend or our friend Network, like he was in there and he was just sitting down with his arms crossed, like looking at. I was like, hey man, come with me. He's like, I'm not doing that. No. It's like, I'm from Detroit. We don't do that in Detroit. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
All right,
We
Network.
probably don't do that in Detroit.
Yeah, he looked tired, but yeah. And Tarzan went and took a nap during it.
Oh, right.
He went-
That sounds like something I would do.
He took a little short. Yeah, it does. He took a short nap and then got more drunk.
Aw.
It was cute. Tarzan.
Manischewitz.
Yeah, look up Black Tarzan also on Bandcamp. He's also cool. But yeah,
He likes sweet wine.
you know, I like the
Yeah.
hardcore punk bands.
Manischewitz.
Manischewitz.
Yeah, he pronounces Manischewitz Manischewitz.
Manischewitz.
And like I kind of love him for doing it because he loves Manischewitz rather. And like Manischewitz, if you're a Jewish kid and you're listening to this, you know of Manischewitz as like the wine your grandmother gave to you when you were like 11 years old.
And here's Tarzan, like this tall, like kind of intimidating looking dude. Who's just like, I love Manischewitz.
Yeah, he's like really he's got dreadlocks. He's like, rah, Manischewitz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and it's like it's
Badass.
awesome. And one time he had me carry it, and like I'm usually like Manischewitz, like it's kind of like children drink, and like when he had me carry it like to wherever we were going, I felt really prideful.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, this is my people's wine.
Yeah.
It's like our grape juice. But it's so gross. It's so sweet. Like I know people who actually use it as a sugar. Like I'm not even kidding. Like there's certain recipes where like you need to put honey into it. Like there's this like thing called Kroseth. It's like apples and like nuts and dates and stuff. And like you can either use honey, and I know some people who use Manischewitz. I keep trying to say Manischewitz. It's Manischewitz. Look what you're doing to me, Tarzan.
Tarzan.
One of our friends named Jack went to the store and asked for Manischewitz,
What?
and he was very mad.
They had no
when he
fucking
meant
clue.
that.
Like Manischewitz.
Yeah.
What is? Is it some Mississippi thing?
Yeah.
Like
It's
my sack.
Mississippi. Like your sack.
I'm
But
gonna
yeah.
lick my sack.
Oh, lick your.
I'm
Okay,
sorry.
present it.
Yeah, I would like to see you present this.
Ew.
Your egg sack.
Ew. Like a spider.
No, like but I guess that's all about I was just gonna say about hardcore punk. I like hardcore punk shows, but every single hardcore punk band sounds like the Circle Jerks or like Black Flag. Like they're just like minute long songs that are just like and like and like I like moshing to it, but it's like I don't know.
Blast beats.
It's
that I kind of realized that like it's so much better when you're moshing, and I feel like I only really like moshing if I'm, you know, kind of feeling loosey goosey that night.
yeah.
It's a very
if I
particular
if I'm
thing.
in the
It would
mood to,
piss
like,
me the
punch
fuck off if
people.
I was not in the mood for hardcore punk.
Yeah,
I'd be
like-
like, ugh.
Yeah, like mosh pitting is like fun. Like whenever I'm in the mood to like kind of like brawl a little bit, but I don't want to actually get punched in the face. Mosh pitting is awesome, right?
Yeah.
But like if I'm like kind of feeling like lethargic and tired, like it's like no bueno at all. I mean that goes without saying though. Like I like a mosh pit like once a month. Like once a month I need like a mosh
Yeah.
pit, and then like for the rest of the month I just want to eat cookies and
I know what you mean. That's the same thing with me in like dance clubs. Like I can go to a dance club like once a month maybe because I love dancing, but
yeah,
you know,
love to dance.
I love to
Love
dance.
the dance.
I usually just have like 4 people dance parties in my living room, and that keeps me happy.
Yeah, yeah. So, man, I don't. Why is there farts on my list of? Did you write farts on my list of things?
Yogurt
to
to
talk
roast some
about?
farts.
Okay,
Well,
let's talk about farts.
I was gonna say, do you?
Dory farted in the car on the way here.
I did fart in the car,
She
and I
must
was
have been
thinking,
eating yogurt.
oh, no. Well, I had a coffee fart. Wait, but listen.
Coffee fart?
What if you like farted during a job interview and it was like really smelly? Do you think they would like
They probably
affect
just
your?
wouldn't talk about it.
Do you think you would? They
Yeah.
would maybe just like
First rule of
subconsciously
Fart
not want to
Club is
hire
to
you
not
anymore?
talk about Fart Club.
I mean, I think that could make somebody not hire you if you just
Yeah.
fart.
I mean, it depends how close your tush is from their face when you farted. Like if their nose was like an inch from your crack and you farted, then they would probably not hire you. But if your ass was like, you know, I don't know, like
4 feet away.
4, 5,
5.
6. I think the minimum is 5 feet. You know.
But you've never had a fart that like fills up a room?
Oh, I have, but I usually keep that to myself. Like, you ever get those sulfury farts? Like when you fart, it just smells like sulfur.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's a thing.
I mean, I'm not like a big time farter, but like sometimes, you know, they're just
oh,
those
don't
days
be
sometimes.
modest. You're big time.
For some reason, I was just visiting my boyfriend in Portland, Oregon, and like for some reason when we're together, we always get really hedonistic and we're like, let's eat meat a lot. So we make like this pork dinners and like brisket,
And
and
it
we were
causes you
just
to
like
fart.
we just like fart all over each other, like, and we accidentally like Dutch oven each other, just like fart in the bed. It's like, and you would just like hold each other's nose, like yeah, like emergency. I feel really
so
bad
that's
about
your
it.
fetish right there.
No, it's
We were
not a
talking-
fetish. I think
we were
that's just when you're
talking about
dating someone, you
fetishes. Shit.
know the smell of their fart.
Me and Dory were talking about
Swedish
fetishes. Like,
fart
do you ever
porn.
watch? Yeah. Have you ever heard of Brazilian fart porn?
No, that's
In Brazil, evidently, they're into people just farting in like their face and watching it online.
Yeah,
Oh,
fart
no.
porn.
You should check it out and come back to us and tell
She's
us what
all
happens.
excited. She's like,
Yeah,
"That's
she's
a
bouncing
thing?"
on the bed right now.
She's
She's
like,
like, "Oh,
"That's
I'm
a
gonna
thing."
fart porn."
No, that sounds horrible.
I'm not gonna watch.
She's
that.
swooning over the fart porn.
Not swooning.
Definitely swooning.
I think this is your homework for next podcast. Look up Brazilian fart porn.
Okay.
Come back. Tell us what you think. Hopefully you'll like it. You know, it'll
Have you
open up a
seen
new
Cake
world
Farts,
of
the
masturbation
video?
for you.
I will never masturbate to fart porn.
What is the weirdest thing you've ever masturbated to? Go.
I'm not going to disclose that information.
What about you, Zero?
I don't know if I should disclose that.
All right, what's the second weirdest thing you've masturbated to?
Oh, God. Oh, you know what I liked?
The
This is
Dave
actually
Chappelle
classy,
show?
so I can say
You masturbated to the Dave Chappelle show?
No.
What?
Which episode? Was
No,
the pee on
I
you?
was just
Was
kidding.
it oh, okay.
I watched this video that's really great that is about it's actually kind of classy, so I don't feel embarrassed talking about it. It's like this video. Have you seen the video where the girls are like reading books, like their favorite novels, and then like like underneath the table, like something like if there's a vibrator on them, and then like but like you just see the table up, so you just see like them reading, and then they just start like orgasming in the middle of like reading a book. It's kind of sexy because they like try to like hold it back, and then they like
Oh, I think I've seen videos. I think I might have watched a video of like a girl, like it just zooms in on her face and she just orgasms for like 2 minutes. And like I just like some dude like it did a whole bunch of these videos. It's just like just like there's
Just
no
faces.
there's no anything. You can't even see their breasts, you know.
Yeah.
It's just their face and like they're I guess they're masturbating, and you just watch them like orgasm. And I watched like 4 or 5 of those. But no. I think
has anybody watched E-Fucked before?
What's that?
No.
It's like a porn comedy website, but it's really dark. It's like
I'm
it's
intrigued.
it's basically this guy. I think he was like a porn cameraman, and he started a website, and it's basically like a lot of like shit that gets outtake from like pornos and like really nasty shit, like people who like blowing like yellow loads and like there's a whole bunch of weird shit.
Yellow
Like
loads.
there was this guy who on there who like would always, he had like all these videos of like him masturbating like at hotels, and he would wait for like the cleaning ladies to come in and like
Be like, what do you like?
yeah,
Do
he
you
would
like
always
this?
ask them to finish him off.
And did anyone?
That's so.
He did 3 sets of videos, and at the end of the third one, somebody did.
What?
It was just
That was staged.
Like it sounds
yeah,
like.
but the thing about it is, the part that was the most surprising is that it was actually a guy. Like
Guy
after all the
finished
videos, it was a guy who finally did it.
That's
Wow.
amazing.
It was weird. It was
Interesting.
weird, super weird.
I'm
But
glad
they're
we.
funny though. Like the whole reason I watch them is because they're just so hilarious.
That's so dirty. That's so dirty.
Yeah.
Michael likes some seriously fucked up
Like,
shit.
I'm pro
You know,
anything as
I-
long as
you
it
know, I
doesn't hurt
kinda
anyone's
do.
feelings.
It's
Because
cool.
I watched Ichi the Killer, and that was probably the most fucked
What's
up
that?
movie
I've never
ever
heard of that.
seen.
What is
It's
that?
it's like a Japanese movie. And
Oh, I already know it's gonna be fucked up when you say Japanese movie. They're into some like
Wait.
they have
Yeah.
some crazy fucking cartoons like.
well, it's not a
porn.
cartoon. It's not porn either. It's like a movie. It's about this mafia killers who are like they're sadistic, but they're also masonistic. or whatever.
Masochists.
Masochists. Yeah.
They're sadomasochists.
Yeah, the sadomasochists. And so like
Maticus.
Masochist.
That sounds like a rap name. Maticus. Yo, my name is Maticus. I like to shit on bricks.
I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce this thing. And
It's okay.
basically like the main character's boss gets kidnapped, and he has to like try and find who kidnapped him, and he just goes on a torturing spree, which wasn't actually too effective in helping him find out where his boss
A
was.
lot of
but
gore though.
yeah, it was really
Yeah,
gory.
they like their gore. Also,
I mean, I can show it to you. It's on my computer.
maybe later. We could always link it on this one.
Yeah, we
wants to
can
watch
link
it.
it.
We'll just
Ichi the
link
Wait,
Killer.
We'll
speaking
link
of
it.
a quick, I'm gonna digress really quickly.
Yeah.
You've watched. We've talked about Evangelion before, right?
Yeah, I watched Evangelion.
Oh, okay, good. I'm on episode 20, and it's
Uh,
amazing.
well, here's the thing about me and Evangelion. I feel like I like more story driven stuff than and I feel like Evangelion is really more of like a character portrait
Yeah,
or like an emotional piece
it is.
than it is like a story, because it's not really a story in a sense until you get into the movie. Did you see the movie?
No.
Or well, like at the end of the series, it's just gonna kind of end arbitrarily, and then there's a movie called The End of Evangelion where you actually get
Yeah,
some answers.
I've heard about that.
But-
And like more sex.
But the answers bring more questions than they do answers. So really, I just feel like I'm sorry to
Yeah.
No,
like,
it's
say your
cool.
loss on this, Zach.
Yeah, I have
but,
no idea what the fuck they're talking about. I'll
It's
just
a
But yeah,
really-
you're
sit here
gonna be left
quietly.
with more questions than answers because
Yeah.
they don't. Really answer
I
them.
think it's an amazing show. I like art that doesn't like assume that the audience is stupid. I like art or any kind of like show or music that kind of like, you know, they expect their audience to follow it, and they don't just like dumb themselves down.
You see, the problem with that is like there's 2 problems with that. One is getting funding, and 2
Yeah.
finding your audience. 'Cause like I've done that before, where like I've made an album that is just really abstract and nobody gets it. Nobody takes the time to re-listen to it because like at some point you just want the
Easy
experience.
listen.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like if you make your experience too hard to understand, you're just gonna like
cloud it.
Yeah, and there's
Yeah,
also
I know what you mean.
studies-
Like my friend, like sometimes he acts so enigmatic. Like I'll send him, like I'll be like, hey, do you want to hang out this week? And like I won't hear back from him for hours. And when he responds, he'll be like, the eagle was on top of the house today. I'll be like, what the fuck does that mean? Do you want to hang out or not? Like it's like just like tell me what you feel about like. I don't want to have to every time you text me like have to like go look up the movie quote you're referring to and like you know what I mean, like it's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm gonna reference some obscure scientific study.
Oh, okay.
It was peer reviewed, so it has to be true.
Okay,
Not
sure.
Yeah.
You know we love scientific
I love
studies that are
But,
peer reviewed on the Blind Math podcast.
But yeah, it was basically the study that said like people say they like things that are different, you know, like as far as like media, like music or movies, but when you show them things that do break from conformity, it tends to make them uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So like there's that, you know, we say we like people to be different, but do we actually like people to be different? We like them to be, I feel like we like people to be different or unique within our ideas of what it means to be different and unique. Like, oh, you're allowed to be a hipster, you know what I mean? But you're not allowed to be like something that you can't categorize because it's make us uncomfortable.
Yeah, a lot of times, like, that I find that a lot of times when I try to, like, tell people, like, in terms of, like, I know what you're saying. Like, whenever I'm like, hey, we're starting a hip-hop punk thing or hip-hop blues punk thing, a lot of times people, like, I don't know, they want to say they like it or something, but they don't. I don't know. It's like, it's kind of a weird thing, like, I guess I don't know.
Yeah, I've noticed that our genre designation is like a double-edged sword. It's kind of like it's just like you run into just problems like left and right, just trying to get booked, trying to explain yourself, and you know what I mean. And then it just kind of makes me more defensive because then it's like, no, fuck all of you.
Yeah,
guys.
no, I kind of
you know
like
what
it
I
when
mean?
don't you kind of like it when you have that person who's like, I don't like this, and you like get you're like, no, I'm gonna like shape this, I want to craft this and like make it good, you know?
Yeah.
Like for instance, I heard like Jack White when he, you know, Seven Nation Army, like don't.
Yeah.
Like when he first like wrote that lick, he played it for someone, and they were like, he was like, oh, look at this lick I wrote, and they were like, yeah, it's alright, whatever. And like, you know, and like he's like, no, this is a good one. I'm gonna hold, and like he like held on to it for like a year, and then and like now it's like their most well known.
Yeah.
I mean, like they sing that lick at like soccer games, you know. And it's like
Yeah.
really popular.
That's something, I guess that's a big part of being like a successful musician is like having a good internal voice and like vision, because that's something that stops me from like finishing a lot of songs is that like when I'm doing like songwriting, I second guess myself.
Yeah, you
and
shit on it, and
and then and especially if someone was like, oh, that's not that great, then I might feel like, oh, I don't know if I want to continue that. That's something that's almost like a muscle you have to build, is just like
because you have
listening to your own opinion,
right? And but you because you also have to like take their opinion as valid. Like I love constructive criticism. Like your friend Kayla, your roommate Kayla, the other day gave me such a good like thing, because like during the show that I was my amp was shitty, and I like 3 people walked up to me and were like, hey, turn up your amp, and I was like, I fucking can't. So I like went on the mic and I yelled at the crowd and I was like, fuck everyone who says this, and like my amp is all fucked up, I'm sorry, my amp is fucked up. And like Kayla was like, Zach, you shouldn't have said that, like you gave yourself a handicap. And people and I was like, oh, you know what, you're totally right, I did give and she was like, no, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make you feel bad. And I was like, no, like I'm actually really happy you said that, because I was kind of thinking it, but the fact that she said that, like I realized like I gave myself a lot of handicaps that night. Like I kept saying like, oh, I'm not that good at this, Lael has more friends than me and all that stuff, you know. And like man, people are not gonna know what the fuck I'm talking about, but like
no, I've a lot of bands. That's like the first rule of being in a band. Don't like, even if you feel like you're having a bad show, do not tell the audience you think you're having a bad show.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got to make like feel very confident. So hopefully, like people perceived it. Like that's why I think
I think we tried to calm you down though.
Yeah.
You were like, yo.
Oh. You mean during the show or after?
Yeah, like right after you said that.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Me and Tarzan
Yeah.
just started talking.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, dude, I'm so happy you guys are in it. Like, please check out our music, Blind Math. But, like, when I was like trying to form this band, like I was like terrified of being a lead singer. So I was like,
Yeah.
I need to get these guys on it because I know they have good personality and I can kind of hide behind them.
I think
You guys are doing a good job.
I think you can definitely do it. I think we need to just
Practice.
Well, I was gonna say we should have had more. We should have talked a little bit more in between songs.
Yeah. I mean, we had some good moments, but yeah, I kind of know what you mean. Well, sometimes I like the straight transitions, and sometimes I like. But
we need to figure that out. But we'll do that
that's
outside of
something.
podcast time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we
Are
do want to
still
talk about
sticking to
musicians
this,
like
to
in the
this
future.
hour rule, or
Oh yeah, we let's end the podcast now.
All right.
So
any final thoughts?
Final thoughts. Check out blindmath.bandcamp.com. Also check out daysandays.bandcamp.com. I'm sorry. What? Oh, yeah. Also, look up. What were you guys just talking about? Like, who was that?
Oh, you were talking about a creepy movie. What is it called?
Talking about Ichi the Killer?
No,
Check out
the one
Ichi the
that
Killer.
the show that y'all.
Oh, the show Evangelion's a great show if you
Check
want to
out
get into
Evangelion.
anime.
Yeah. Also look up Crimea. But I'm sure all
Yeah.
you people already have, so fuck it. All right, yeah, there's really nothing left. We have nothing to talk about today, as usual, so we'll stop. We'll stop now.
I leave you with a burp.
Dory is such a good gaseous person. You have such amazing gas.
It's my charm. It's part of my charm.
Yeah.
Call me. I'll link my phone number to the page if you
They
want
want queef in their
Okay.
If
face.
you're a fart smeller.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, fart smellers, goodbye.
Dory fart porn.
Fart plug.